What's going on, people? How's it going? Back for yet another class. Oh, see, we got to white balance the thing again. Hold on. White balance. Good morning. Wish I would always just keep it here. I got some money apparently. They're like, you got money. It's like, woo! Gotta love that, right? Oh no, we're still too high. Whoa. There we go. All right. So, how's everyone doing today? We doing good? Still making it? Got 1, 2, 3.5 weeks. 3.5 weeks. Then the semester is over. 3.5 weeks. You ready for that? Ready for 3.5 weeks? Yeah. Allergies being crappy. The problem with that is that I don't know about you, but I have allergies too. So every time I sneeze, I'm like, oh no, I've got it. Right? I've got COVID-19. Oh no. So you never know if it's, if it's freaking allergies or if you're actually sick or, you just don't know. So stay safe. Drink a lot of water. You know what I mean? Oops. That sucks. That really does. Sorry to hear that. People probably freaking out with you like, oh my goodness. I don't know exactly who's here. Had some people put some stuff in there. So you did that one. Kyle. Check out Kyle's. What we got? Any photography I like to pose. These are with the head shape. Okay, got some good comments. That's good. Ah, awesome. So I don't know if you can hear it. I don't know if you could hear that, but my son has to play trombone, and so I asked him about it. I'm like, have you played trombone yet? And he's like, nah. I'm like, all right. And then his mom was like, you should do that right now. It'll be just like NSU, except for it over there it's tubas. Here it'll be trombone. It'll be awesome. Makes me feel like I'm right back at school. Alright, so Kyle, I don't even know if you're here. I only have the usual suspects talking, so I don't even know if you're here. But, so these poses are good, right? You really need to definitely stay, she's broken here, right? Like, broke. Hey Kevin, what's going on, man? I'm just teaching class, so stick around for some critiques. Offer your own. So, like I said, she is completely broken in this one. That one's bad. This one's less so, but the idea that people have to keep giving women these itty bitty waists, it doesn't support all the things that you want, right? You can't have big breasts, big butt, and this itty bitty waist. You're gonna snap over in half. It just doesn't work, right? So if you are here, right, and you follow this, and you're like, all right, so here's the rib cage, right? So if that's the rib cage, right? What does broken mean? Well, look at her shape. You said, what does broken mean? right here. Let me do another one. Broken, look, so her center line, oops. Right, so her center line's like that, right? And so while we have this is fine, right? So we have, oops, we have that going on to where you can actually say, all right, her hips are going that way, her shoulders are going this way, right? You got that nice contrapposto going on, which is great, right? But her ribs are so far down, and then her stomach being right here. So what's indicated as her stomach is this bit right here, right? That's her stomach. That's no. That's a no. Just a no. Okay? So when I say she's broken, you've got this piece over here and then this piece over here, right? But everything is kind of coming out. Everything's coming out and then cocking itself over. And that's just uncomfortable, right? You got to think that even though women, they sashay when they walk, right? And their hips pop up, it's still connected to that spine. And that your spine does not do that. It does not do this. Okay? It just doesn't. So the thing is, if you have your rib cage, let me get that color again, right? So you have your rib cage there, and then if this is, you know, if this right here is where your hips are going to be, right? Because then you can, that leg comes out from, oops, from here, right? You're like, all right, then this one. Right? You actually have to push that over in order to make that work. Right? So you're like, okay, here. So there and there, which means that this, sorry, was doing demos for other things. Sorry. So that means that your hips are different, right? So it's going to come up and come all the way down like this in order to make that work. Right? Okay, and so this is where her ribs would be, right? Because the breasts rest on the ribs. Right? So the breast rest on the rib cage, and then this little part, right, which is the excess of the ribs. Draw it another color. Right? So this is the excess of the ribs, right? And then it has to round out. And this comes down and then pops out into that hip, right? So one of the things that's really missing is the fact that it needs to be less dramatic, because what you have going on here is just so strong of an angle. Look, I'm erasing stuff because I made too big of a line, and look where your division, whoops, look where your division happened, right? You guys see that? You see how much is missing? How much is cut out of that person? Here, sorry, let me zoom in. This part right here, right? So I was erasing my blue line because it was too thick of a line, and as I did that, more and more of the original drawing came in, which means here, like this part right here, like all this part is missing out of this poor girl, right? All of that is missing. Right? And then over here, right? So all of this, right? So this drawing here had her coming in here, right? So this is all missing, right? And then this part is also missing, right? So those are the parts, right? To make sure that that person looks like they're a regular person. Okay? See them all that it doesn't matter. Women are women, right? The body posture, the body shape doesn't change. You can't. This is a Rob Liefeld look, right? When you come in and they're like right, and then the hips come out of that. That doesn't work. We don't do angles, right? We just don't do angles. Okay? So yeah, You need to fix her body posture right there. Not her posture, just the shape of her missing parts, right? And this would actually come out further. Okay. And then with this one, the other one, this one's less problematic. All right, that one's actually working fairly well, but the thing is that this muscle right here, right, that's what the back technically connects to. So if you're trying to round it out, like you have too much, right, and then you're not giving her a waist. You need to give her a waist. You can't just go from breast to rib cage to hips. That doesn't work, right? So we got to see the rest of that rib cage. Then that comes in, right? So it would be here. Right. She's got massive, and you got her drawing massive legs. Like, I work out legs. So I don't know if that's what you were going for. Right? And then this one doesn't have enough on it. Alright. And even though she's at a side, you would still see her shoulder. And she's got a massive neck. You gotta watch that anatomy. Oh my goodness. You got trapezius muscles from hell. Remember, based on the body shape that you've given us, right? She shouldn't have these massive muscles. Like that's still too, I would not even give her that. She's got massive shoulders the way that you've drawn it. Her forearm is way too long. She's got to work on some of the anatomy. Okay. All right. Moving on. Let's see what else we got. If you have any questions, let me know. Maybe she has long arms. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. But if you're going to make them so that she has long arms, make them long. You know? You never want to give someone the idea that you just made a mistake. Right? So if you're like, oh, well, they're long arms. It's like, well, they're only long by a little bit. So since they're long by a little bit, that makes me believe that you just made a mistake. All right. Costume sketch. Okay, it's a big jumpsuit. You know, I think it works. I think the placement of the yellow in the boots is wrong. Like maybe it should go over the toe, or maybe it's just the rubber soles, right? Having that yellow like that, just a straight line down, that's not working. Maybe you could do it on the rim, on the top of the shoe. Alright, so let's see. Brush. Alright, so maybe instead you put it here. Alright, and we just kind of ignore this. Alright, just to break up this place and that place, but then you can also come in if you wanted to and maybe put them down here. You know? It comes up a little bit maybe to indicate it's a shoe. I don't know. You know, that way you still are continuing that yellow down. To be honest, if you're doing the whole lightning thing, you like go ahead and keep that motif going. Right? So. Right, just kind of keep that same zigzag idea. Just keep that going. And to be honest, I would actually have this actually come and wrap around the leg. I know it's just a sketch, but just saying. I think that would be more interesting than just having the little lightnings come in. That's definitely something I would try. You know, just try it out. Definitely make it look like lightning. You know what I mean? So I was trying to figure out how to copy one to the other side so it would look the same. So if you're using Photoshop, right, what you would do is you take a lasso, make your selection, Control C or Command C, then Command V, and it'll place the exact thing that you had selected. Then you have to go to Edit, Transform, Flip horizontally, then you move it over. Now granted, if I had filled it in, like I was using excess stuff from the other one, but right, you fill it in, then all this will be filled in, of course. Oh, baby's crying. Okay. And I still think that it would be cool if this was left open, right? So if this was able to be the skin color, just so that it gives you a little bit of intrigue, not intrigue, but a little bit extra design. It's not just one giant one suit, right? Because that's not, you don't, unless you're doing like motocross, the whole like super one suit thing has been done. Let's go ahead and break it up a little bit, right? Cool? And you may even want to continue this yellow, right? You might even want to, just for consistency's sake, since you always have yellow and this pink together, right? And then you could still come in and, you know, kind of make this into just that lightning shape. See? That way you now have a nice shape, and then if you wanted to, you could come down and continue that here. That way it gives you a nice design. That's up to you. You can keep it solid. I think it's fine, solid, and then kind of have that motif that you know, continue into like the arms. I think that'll be fine. I think your hands can be left open. I mean, it's just that little bit of extra. You can put gloves on it if you want to, but I think that it just leaves that little bit of human in it, so people go like, who is this person? You know, we know that she's this, you know, she's Latino, she's black, she's white, you know, but we don't really know much else. That kind of thing, you know? Because no matter what, in superhero stories, no one ever checks to fingerprint anybody when it comes to, you know, when people beat each other up. It's like, oh, well, who beat this person up? I don't know. Don't worry about fingerprints around the crime scene. Who cares? So, you know, I think this is fine. Okay. Like you guys' progress, we're getting there. 3.5 weeks. Just saying. 3.5 weeks. There's nothing here. I remember being told that we were making our thread and just to post all of our work there, but I see everyone making new threads. I don't know, so am I just reposting a new thread or making my grade gets count, making sure my grade gets counted? You know what? We were like, hey, just do things, but then everyone kind of did their own thing, which is fine, but if you are telling me that you have yours somewhere else, I will go look for it. Working on my 3-point turnaround. You know what? Just to keep stuff easy and in your face, just every time you have a new information or new image you want to post, just make a new thread. We'll just follow it from the top. Seems like it's going to be easiest for everybody, so let's just do that. All right. All right, so your front and side look like they could be good. Here's a problem though. They're not the same size. Oops. This is where a light box, not see that drawing. Yeah, no, she posted it in her original thread because that's what we were supposed to do at first. So they're putting this in the original thread, and so we're gonna make sure, like, every time you do something new, we're gonna post on a new thread, just to be safe. All right, so this is where a light box or a sunny day and a window comes in handy. But all I did, right? I took this image. This is the main important one, right? Yep. This is the main important one. And then what you do is you flip it, right? Right? So now you have the same size going on that you had in the first one, right? And then you would copy and paste it, or if you're in Photoshop, you copy and paste it, then you start a new layer, and then you draw over it, right? But as you can see, right, when we try and line this person, can you guys see that? Or do I need to make him a little less? I don't want to lose the other guy. All right, but if we try and line them up, you see how the one from the main pose, the left, is smaller and a lot smaller than the person on the right. So these two are not the same person, right? When it comes to the design, while they look right, they're like, oh yeah, hoodie, arms in the hoodie, looks like regular jeans. All right, I buy it, right? But they're not the same person. Same thing with this guy, right? Because he's in this baggy, you have him in this very baggy type sweater, and then here everything is skin tight. Like, ooh, like right on him. And you shaded it in, right? So you went ahead and you shaded it in, but then there's no shade in anything else. Now, since you said you were working on it, that might come later. I'm just pointing it out just so that you guys know ahead of time, right? But, one of the big things is, where's his arm? While yes, I do understand that you'll look at a lot of turnarounds and they will show you there's like the arm is off, but then they've detached it and they drew it over here, right? And they're like, here's his arm, right? And then they put all the details or whatever on the arm, but it's detached, and it's so that the 3D modeler can come in and take this turnaround and go, okay, this is where that fold is going. All right, this is here, that's there. All right, got it. Okay, so if you're gonna detach the arm, you still have to put the arm in it, because otherwise it just looks like you ripped his arm off. Okay, but hey, throat comes in like so. One of the things that you're missing is his muscles, the muscle in his head. But okay, so there's the collarbone. This would come out. Right. Okay. Then come to the shoulder. Probably here. Stomach. All right. So that's here. So this would come out and back in. Right. Like okay. One of the main things is that your person's leaning and your proportions are a tad bit elongated. Okay. And to be honest, I'd push his head over here. There we go. Okay. Okay. So there's that. Right? Okay. So he's a little bit long the way you've got him drawn, but what I really want to focus on is this. Like, I think the way you've drawn the pants is fine, but I really want to focus kind of on this sweatshirt, right? So it's not a t-shirt, right? So it's not right up on the neck. So you'd actually want to give it, you'd actually want to give it a little bit of space, right? And even if you're like, all right, I'm gonna bring this down. One of the things you got to remember is that just because you can add wrinkles doesn't mean you have to. Okay? And so if this is where it attaches, right, your pull point is around this shoulder. So this is bunching here. So it's coming from here, right? So your folds are coming from there. So if you wanted to mimic that a little bit, you could. Doesn't have to be much, right? Here. Just a little bit, right? And so there's that, but then, right, he's wearing something that's really baggy. So we got to give it the feeling as though it is baggy. So even if up top, right, you're like, oh, okay, that it's tight here because he's got a big chest or whatnot, and you're like, all right, cool. But then once it comes down, it's, it's kind of bowing itself back out, right? And then if you're like, oh, well, there's something here, you're like, okay. If it bows here, that means that your line, your wrinkle line is there. Okay? right? Because it's pulling once again from that shoulder area, right, where the fabric connects, and then you can just pull from there, which is kind of what you got going on, right? And then pop that out, right? Right, but then it still has to feel baggy coming out from over here, right? And then it's probably gonna bunch somewhere around here. Right, and you can have it so that it becomes form-fitting as it gets closer, but I mean, to be honest, I'd probably push this out a little bit further, just a little bit. You see how that right there just makes it look like it's a lot baggier, right? And if you really wanted to pooch it or pouch it, right, then it just gets bigger down here because you're just like, oh, there's more fabric, right? So, and then if you let it hang down a little bit, right? So, and the one thing that you got to remember, right, especially when it comes to especially when it comes to this side view, right, there's a no okay, wrong button. So it comes to this center line, right? I'm going to follow where your center line is, right? And his head should be in the center line, unless you really are trying to push him like he's old, right? But then his head comes down. The further your head goes forward, the further your head comes down. You cannot push your head forward without moving further down, because your neck is trying to compensate for you moving forward, which if you look at my shoulders, right? Okay. If you look at my shoulders as I move forward, right? My head going forward forces my shoulders up and my neck to go down. So if this person's like that, then the shoulders need to come up and his head needs to come down, and it needs to be reflected in both the front and the side. Okay? But it seems like this person is really relaxed, calm, collected, and so he wouldn't be one of those people who are like, oh, please don't hurt me, right? So you got to push that head back. Try and make them the same size. All right? And then this arm right here, right? Here's a good example. We copy and paste that, edit, flip, horizontal. All right, so now we have this, right? Belongs over here. We're gonna put that on multiply so you can see it, or not. Too much gray. How about overlay? There we go. That'll work. All right. Do you see if I connect that arm to where it's supposed to go in the pocket, where you have the pocket? Let's just connect it. Right? It's just bigger because your arm, right? Your arm is here, right? But it needs to be here, okay? So you just want to work on making sure everything stays consistent, okay? All right. Moving on. See what else we got. Come on. All right, we'll go back to page 1. Sidekick. Ooh, they're light. Oh, this is the bad guy. Or the sidekick. Let's see, Baz. Show him folder, which it never wants to do. Show him folder again. We're going to want to open all three of them. Hey Google, what's going on? Alright, so we got them all open. First one's the antagonist, so I can't see it. Gotta send us just a little bit better of a picture. Alright, it's too blurry to really see what's going on here. Sorry. Alright. Sidekick Trey. Action pose. Alright, so with Trey, you need to figure out what his age is. Okay? Because this, you got a nice Boondocks kind of face going on, right? Big eyes, makes it look like a young guy. Young guy. Right? Makes it look like a young guy. But this guy, right? This one's the older brother. Right? You've got to be able to keep those consistent, right? And it's all going to come down to this head shape. Right? So this thing right here and the proportions that you give for it. Oops. Right? So if this eye takes up pretty much half, right? So if this eye takes up half of a face, right, from one side to the other, half. If we're coming to this guy, right, and that's straight on, not 3/4, but, right, his head would need to be a lot bigger, right, a lot more youthful, so it's going to be a lot more round, right? So if I come over there and I'm like, alright, so here's his face, right? And his nose is here. Then, actually the nose is too big. Drawing on the same lip. Alright, so if his nose is here, then his eyeball, right? His eyeball is still got to be that, it's got to be huge, right? We got to be able to see that he's got big eyes, right? And then he's kind of got this shape going on, and then it pops over, right? So you kind of got that going on, whereas where you have it, his chin is coming all the way back here. It's coming all the way back here. Okay, that's where the difference is gonna happen, right? You got to choose that face shape. If this is what you want, right? If you're going, I want this shape, then that shape has to stay consistent throughout, even when you turn it, right? So when you're turning this way, you still got to give us that. Okay. I like the character. He looks kind of cool. I kind of wish he'd be a little kid. Right? Angry fighter kid instead of another grown adult. I think having a sidekick young guy would be awesome. Outfit can still be the same. I just think that it would be cool if he was younger. Which would also be cool if the trench coat, right, came all the way down because he's short, right? Because he's a kid, so it comes all the way down, and he's like, what? It was my brother's, you know, or something like that. You know what I mean? That'd be fun. He's got a hoodie too. Yeah, so that's what I would do. I mean, I think that's fine. Looks cool. I like the character, right? I like the character with without anything. Right? This is cool. This is a cool character right here. I would stick with trying to make this. Google says it makes him reminds her of the Karate Kid. And then, who is this? It's your antagonist. Okay, so the biggest thing that I noticed is you have got to put some guidelines down that you can follow all the way through, and it'll always be based on your first guy. And that would be the back of the heel, would be the front of the foot. Right? So just by doing this, you should be able to notice right away that things aren't lining up. Okay? Which makes it a different character. Oh, this is supposed to be the side. This is the young guy sidekick? Okay. That's fine. I mean, because you were making him a grown kid anyway. But you got to use some rulers, you got to use some guidelines to make sure that that lines up. Because right now it's not, right? And for the love of everything holy, okay, you've got to do these in order. Front, side, back. The whole idea is that the character is turning, right? So we're seeing them and then they turn, and then we're seeing them and then they turn. Okay? Front, side, and back. You're saying it's a sketch? Okay, that's cool. It's a sketch. I'm just saying that when you're ready to turn something in, it's front, side, and back. Not back, front, side. Okay? Front, side, back. Okay? Main thing here, you've got to use those guidelines to make sure your character is the same size. Okay? Each one of them is a different size. Okay? Alright. Still think you should make him a young guy. Alright. Forward, moving on. Excuse me. This is the one from outside? Oh, okay. How would you draw him younger? His proportions are different. Right? Hold on, we'll go back here. Right? So let's just say we're going to go with this guy. We'll put it on a different letter. Ooh, no, don't group it. There's nothing to group. Alright, so if this is his... That's too much of a head. But we're going to go here. Alright, so if that's his head, right? Two. Three. Whoops. Oh my goodness. Alright. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, So you have them about 8 heads tall, right? So if you're drawing a smaller person, right, a younger person, depends on how small you want to draw them, right? But you would come in, you're like, all right, so you want him to be, let's just say you want him to be this tall, right? From there to here, okay? No, you're not coming on camera until you wash your face. Okay, so if that's where we want him, we gotta go, all right, I want him to be like 5 heads tall or something like that. 1, all right, so 1, let's see, select it, Control A, C, V. What? Don't need another one of those, oh well. 1, all right, it's 3, 4, right? So now you have a person who is 5 heads tall, okay? This person's head is bigger, right? It's wider, it's bigger, right? So when you're doing that, and then you build them out, right? So now you would come in and say, all right, that's its head, right? So then we can go, all right, and you just kind of build them out. Yeah, hold on. Trying to teach here, hold on. Right? And so now, there you go. Okay? And there's your little guy. Right? Big head. Like this guy. Big head. No. There's the camera. You gotta look at the camera. Look at the camera and say hi.
Hi.
I'm glad you washed your face.
No, Mommy did.
I'm glad Mommy washed her face. Alright.
Daddy.
Yep. You want your glass? You want them to see you with your glasses on? Alright, come here. This is actually a different class from the last one, so they haven't seen you with your cool glasses. Alright, come on. You gotta look at the camera.
Hi.
Alright. There you go. Go. No, I gotta finish. Go. The thing is that he ain't crazy yet. So, just keep that in mind. Alright. So, any other, does that help, Jasmine, with how would you draw a smaller person? Right? And then of course the big thing, the one big thing with characters that are youthful, right? They just have big eyes. Hold on, buddy. We threw them all away. Remember, they were bad, so I threw them all away.
Why?
I just told you, because they were bad.
Can you buy me new ones?
Yes. Alright, so moving on to the photography. You know what? I'm going to save this image so we can look at it a little closer. Alright, so there's the original. Thank you.
Sad.
Oh. Putting cream in there?
Anybody want cream in there?
May I please have some
French
creamer?
vanilla?
Yes, please. Thank you.
I put it
No. Go say hi to Daddy Stoops.
So to you already said hi.
Do it again.
Yes, I know it isn't up yet. You'll be alright. It's gonna go up today.
Hi.
Stop. Okay.
Daddy.
See, okay, so this one, no. I need you to stop. I'm trying to teach them. You need to stop. Thank you.
Want to be a ninja?
I don't know what he's thinking about.
I don't know if he still has the ninja hat. The white face mask.
Not readily available.
You'll have to wait until after class is over, okay, Brian?
Alright, so I'm confused about composition with these images and others you have seen. Also, James's pictures have blurred backgrounds. Should I use them in the same effect? I mean, once again, it's all going to come down to what story are you trying to tell? How are you trying to accentuate what you're trying to say? Because, with the first 3 images that you have, it's kind of the same image, but you're just playing around with the exposure and the contrast. But then we have this last one where they're all smiling. And what would have been really interesting is if they were in more of a rundown area, like the one from your original image, right? And it looks like a rough place to be. The chairs are all messed up. Everything is like, oh wow, okay, they're in a bad spot, right? And then if you did that same thing, and yet you had them all dressed up, all looking great, but then they're smiling. I mean, they're smiling from ear to ear. You're like, okay, well, why are they smiling? What do they know that we don't know, right? That would have been a story. That would have had us inside of. That would have had us inside the story. Like we would have been there going, I wonder what else can we find? Is there some hidden nugget? Is there something there, right? That would have really worked. And this composition is interesting because you have this extra walkway here, right? And
Daddy.
Brown, go upstairs. You have this extra walkway to lead us in, right? It's really something, a nice compositional piece where it's like, hey, I'm coming in, and it's inviting. Like this one, it's like it's inviting, and so I'm allowed to come in. And I think that's something that, it's just story. It's going to base on story. So it's just, that's what you need to think about. It's like, what is your story, right? You have this as a base, right? You have this as a base. You got to think about what was their story. And then you come back and you're like, all right, well, what story do I want to tell with kind of the same idea? Because this one, to me, is way more interesting than any of these first 3. Right? I want to know why they're smiling so much. But like I said, if you would have found a more rundown area with beat up chairs and all that kind of stuff, and then you're like, let's put you here, dressed to the nines, and then you are smiling from ear to ear. That would have been a better story. That would have been a better picture. Horrible. I mean, so think about this one, because I think this one's working, right? So you like to smile at me because there might be a secret. Yep. Yeah. It's just the story, right? It's just I'm trying to tell a story. And I think that one just tells more of a story. Whatever you did here, though, like this black and white, I think you could play with it a little bit so that it's not as sharp. But for some reason, this looks like a great mafia picture, you know, where they're like, this is that image that you would see on the desk of the police officer, and they're like, yes, so the triad here, they're doing this, that, and the other thing. But I think you need to doctor up these pictures, right? Yeah, this picture is way better. I like this. This one, this in black and white, looks way better, right? It's really working. But once again, it depends on what kind of story you're trying to tell. I look at this and I'm going, I need to blur some of these images, these edges. I need to make it less crisp. I need to make it look as though it's a little bit more dingy, and it's like, oh man, I don't know if that's where I'd want to go, you know, with these people like that. So that's what I would say. You know, I think that it's good. It's definitely working better in black and white. But I'm always going to come back to, what story are you trying to tell with this picture, right? And whatever that story is, how can you enhance it with all the tools that are available to you? Because once again, if you're just going to go point and click, done, I can do that too, and I am no photographer, right? There's a lot that goes into photography, and I know you know that, but don't be afraid to like push beyond what you think is right? Go experiment, go try some stuff, see what's going to work, you know, broaden that artistic knowledge so that you know what's going to happen. Like, you know, like, this is the story. There's no other way. You look at this and you're like, yes, I'm in it, and I want to know as much as possible. All right? And I think that's the one component that's really missing from your work, is how are you pushing the story? With the highlights and shadows, you can be able to tell your story better. I learned this from Hughes. Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Thanks. I currently take his photography class. Yeah, no, highlights and shadows, you know. And like I said, just because you're making a very nice image doesn't mean you can't make it look like this, right? Scratches in the photography, right? Beat up stuff down here, like the exposure is all messed up and tore up and stuff like that, right? Bring in some shadows to where it looks as though it's an old photo, but this is all highlighted, right? I'm pretty sure that none of this was intentional, but this is what we have, right? This photo is old, it's doctored, and this is the picture we have. But why couldn't you do the same thing here, right? Put in some time and effort to make this look like an old-timey photo. Make sense? It is too clean. Well, okay, once again, I think it's too clean, right? Because right now there is no real story being told here. It's just a picture. That's my big thing. There is no. You took a picture and you made it black and white. I can do that. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can do that. I can take my phone, go out and be like, click, click, bam, done. Take my picture, make it black and white. Yes, you put lights there, right? You put lights there, but how did those lights enhance your story? How did your post-editing help your story? Did you add any effects? Did you add any distortion? Did you add any noise? Did you add anything, right? How are you pushing your story? And ever since we have seen your work, that is the one thing I've said. You need to push your story, right? Because you have people. You're not necessarily taking food photography. Even in food photography, though, you're still trying to tell a story, right? This is the best burger you will ever eat, right? And you have to be able to show that in some way, right? When they do cereal and they're taking pictures, they don't use milk, they use glue, right? Watered down glue as milk. So when you're pouring it, it just looks thick and luscious, and you're like, oh man, that looks really good, right? But that's for the picture, right? And they were using elements and tools that they had available to make it look even better than it is. That's what you need to do. Okay? Which boils down to, what's the story you're trying to tell? Make sense? Yeah, no. Look, the retouch is fine. I'm not trying to tell you that your editing is bad. That's not at all what I'm telling you. The thing that I'm trying to tell you is that you should think about more, so think about what story are you trying to convey to us. I know there was a story when you took it, you know, if you're like, hey, here's this story, right? These three guys. You research this and you're like, okay, I know the story behind this was this, and this, right? They're trying to convey whatever the case may be. Well, you're trying to recreate something similar. Not the same, but similar, right? So then you have to go, okay, I have that as my reference. What am I going to do in my photo that pays homage to this but tells the story I'm looking for, right? That's the big difference. You need to focus on the story of your photography, at least for the stuff that you've shown us. Because like I said the last time you showed something, if all you're doing is like high school and middle school portrait photography, then fine. There's really no story there. You just smile, right? So that's it. It's like, just, that's fine. But, you know, those people make tons of money making high school photography pictures. They do, right? But you want to be an artist. I can tell you want to be an artist. And so if you want to be an artist, you're going to have to bring your artistic vision to these pictures. Otherwise, they're just assignments, right? You're going to be very technical at what you do, and then all of your artisticness is not going to be there, right? There are plenty of technicians out there who can give you exactly, I need you to take a picture of this tree. All right? Click, took the picture of the tree. Great. Now I need you to edit it to make it look like a nice tree. All right? You go back, you edit for an hour. Here you go. This is the best way this tree is going to look. Awesome. Thank you for taking that picture of the tree. Here's your money, right? They go on, they're happy, they do that. But if you're going, I want to be an artist, like I eventually want to have my stuff in a gallery, or I want to have a gallery show, or I want it in magazines that are not, you know, National Geographic's look at this tree. But at that point, you have to tell a story. There's something that has to happen about your work that's different. If you don't, you know what I mean? There's nothing there. So, what are you trying to tell us? Like one person out of the group is envious of the other. Yep, could do that. Have a different facial expression. One of the guys could be looking down at the one sitting. Yeah, you know, just something simple. Could be it. Or the side eye. Yeah, you know. But you need to give a, don't rely so heavily on your reference. All right. All right. Let's see. I think there was one other thing up here. Yep. Working on this logo. 2 logos. Hmm. So these are definitely way more interesting. These logos, right? These are way more interesting. And I think I'm really leaning towards these three over here. I mean, for a person like myself, I'm more of a clean guy. I'm like, you know what, I like this one. But to be honest, the way that you have this going right now, you know, either one of these two will probably fit you better. And if you made this graphics a different color, right? Because it's like, look at all my technical skills with IT got, you know, and then the graphics, you even did it yourself. You're like, I got to put something different in graphics, but you should make it a different color so that it pops out, right? Because right now that kind of gets faded in, especially since you're overlapping it, right? So, to be honest, I like this one right here, because there we go. Aha. So this one right here, I like this one. Got's not so huge, right? I hope there's some significance to this dot ball thing that you got going on here. I don't know. I don't know if that one, you know, means anything. People might question you on it, so have an answer, right? But I would definitely make this a different color, right? Make that a different color. Push it over a little bit so that this actually overlaps the T. It doesn't create this tangent that's right here. Just go ahead and overlap it, right? Move that over a little bit, and definitely make it a different color. Absolutely need it to be a different color, okay? And I would even go so far as making this line, these lines, as thick as this line, right? Make your outside stroke all the same thickness, right? Like this is one thickness, that's good, right? This same here, T, this should be the same thickness all around, right? But this one I think should be bigger. I mean thicker, even though it's bigger, right? Like we see it, but if you make that stroke thicker, then we'll read T first, right? Instead of Tagat. Oh, T, because it's bigger, it's bolder, right? We're like, okay, and then we see the next one, and then graphics, all right? So you want that hierarchy of shapes, or in this case, letters and graphics. So that T you want to be a little bit bigger, have a little bit stronger stroke so that it commands more attention, and then got, and then graphics being another color. Now granted, the thing you got to remember is that depending on what color you pick, graphics might be read first, right? Because it is in front of everything, which could lend into a good story, which is, you know, graphics first. Like we, you know, it's like we've got all this technical stuff, but we are definitely going to give you a very nice graphic design. Like we're going to make sure that this looks really nice, right? So, story. I don't have an answer, but I can make something up. Make something up good. Don't just be like, I like the ball. The internet. So, yeah. But I think that one is going to work for you for a while, till you decide you need something different. Like once your style changes, and you know, once you get a couple more years under your belt, you might change that. But for who you are and how your designs work, I think that this one right here is definitely where you should be. Make that, once again, make the outline of the T bolder. Make sure that this T has the same line weight, same stroke length as this one. Move the graphics over a little bit so that it overlaps the T better, and make it a different color. Okay? All right, it looks like everybody. Does anyone have any? Oh, seniors! I just got an email that told me from the dean's office that you do not have to complete anything early because there is no commencement. So grades don't need to be in early. So you have until the very last week. So it gives you an extra week to get stuff done. So that should be good, right? Any comments, questions, concerns, complaints? Alright, well then we will close these down. Give you guys a couple more seconds because I know how you are. As soon as I'm like, alright, I'm going to sign off then since we got through everyone and there's no questions, then there's going to be like, how's the coffee? No coffee! It's actually Thai tea. Coffee stunts your growth, man. But it's good. It's good. I enjoy it. You like the critiques? We could have been having critiques since day one, but we've went over that again. No need to harp on that again. But I'm glad that you guys are getting something out of it. It makes me happy because I really didn't want these classes to just kind of disappear. You know, like not disappear, but just be worthless. And that's the one thing that I really, really, really didn't want to have happen. So I'm glad that you guys are getting something out of it. Yes, glad you're getting something out of it. Space injected. Alright, well, if that's it, then get to work. Ooh. Right? Get to work. Stay productive. You guys have been really working. I actually got to get in contact with Donnell, so that was good. He'll be posting some stuff soon. Oh, really? Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that personally, but I'm actually I'll have to apologize for everyone else. I'm sorry that you're not really still getting any learning out of any of your classes. That's sad. Is there anything I can do? I mean, I don't know what classes you're taking or anything like that, but not that I could really help. I mean, let's be honest, we are literally 3 weeks away from the semester being over, and so I don't know, but if there is anything I can do to help, please let me know. I'm here, right? I'm available to you guys. Just let me know. Let me know and I'll gladly help you as much as I can. Alright, well, seems like we made it to the end, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Oh, wait, I do not know who is more demanding cues, or you. Yes, we work well together. But I can tell you it's me. He's starting to come around to my side. He's coming around to the dark side, but he's still a softie. So, and he knows I say that about him. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, try and sign off for the third time. So I'm going to sign off. I'll see you guys next week. Stay productive, stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on Monday, all right? Take care, guys.